I remember getting that phone call from Daryl when he was still in Chicago, and he calls me up and he says, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I have some news, some things to share with you." And that's when he told me he was moving back to Portsmouth. And I remember my response was, "Why in the world would you want to move back to Portsmouth?" And later we learned, that the Lord had been speaking to him and had given him a vision to start a church. And
we fasted year after year, and here comes Daryl saying he wants to start a church, and that was our answer to our prayers. It was honestly one of the best things that's ever happened in my life.
The Weimers and Matt and I got together and were praying on a regular basis for something to come to Portsmouth, and we didn't know what it looked like or who was coming to help or if it would just be the four of us, but we knew that God would be faithful in providing those people to work. So after hearing the Nichols story and meeting them, we were all very confident that this is what we had been waiting for.
It just, with every meeting, I met new people that I just fell in love with, and I could feel God's presence, and I hadn't felt that in a long time.
I wasn't sure if it was really going to be a for real thing, but it was more than we expected and everything we ever dreamed of.
Yeah, as soon as we went to that meeting, and I think we both just thought, this is it. This is the church we've always struggled with, with our Adam, our son, just trying to find a church where we could, feel comfortable with all of our kids and everybody being in it. And just when we started the first time, we just felt like this is it. This is the church we've been looking for 15 years since we moved down here.
So there's a major ice storm hits on Saturday night, and I mean, it's a major storm event. Churches in the area are closing. And we'd sent out the postcards, we couldn't reschedule. It was happening, and we didn't know if just the 40 to 50 launch team was going to show up and nobody else. But we showed up and we set up, and people started coming. And that first day, we had 275 people. And we had just an amazing service. It was just a great presence of God in that theater, and people returned to God that had been gone for years. And it was just a terrific day for a lot of people.
Man, was it amazing that first morning. People we didn't even know. I've lived here all my life, and I probably didn't know 10% of the people that were here launch Sunday morning, going to bed that night and wondering, is anybody really going to show? Is there anybody going to come? And waking up in the middle of the night, actually, and having that fear. But man, it was amazing. They just kept coming and kept coming.
We had that launch. We had 275 people on Sunday launch, and me and Daryl were the last two people to walk out of this cinema that morning. And he looked at me and he said, "Craig," he goes, "tell me what you think for next week, because typically every church has less. ARC has helped over 400 churches do this, and only 2 churches have ever had more the second week than the first." And I looked at him dead serious and I said, "Tell ARC we're going to be the 3rd church to do it." And he said, "Really?" I said, "We're going to have more next week. The buzz and the electricity is too strong. I feel it." And sure enough, we had 295. It was great.
So I called an emergency meeting. I called all the launch team that were on board, that's 40 people, and I said emergency meeting, and we met at that night and talked about how do we get to 2 services. And 6 weeks later, a couple weeks before Easter, we launched into 2 services so we could hold the crowds, because people were standing and sitting on the floor, sitting on the steps almost every week by that point.
In the beginning it was chaos, and I think that it was like excited chaos, and it was very undeveloped chaos, because none of us knew what we were doing and none of us knew what we were into. And when people actually came that first week, and it wasn't just like 12 people who are our friends and our family, we were blown away because the weather was awful. And now LifePoint is still chaos, because I don't think any of us ever expected it to get to the point that it is now as quickly as it did.
We are a very young church, but we're very big, and so we're like this 120-pound toddler trying to learn to walk in the room. And every Sunday is it's chaos, setting up and tearing down, and all the systems that have to work, and all the technology that has to work. And so I feel like one of the hidden jewels of LifePoint is our Kids Point. I mean, it is phenomenal. I would love to be a kid again and get to come. I mean, we had Batman, we had pirates, we had Elsa and Olaf. I mean, where do you get that on Sunday morning? And the team that's in there is so passionate about communicating Jesus on a level that those kids can understand and get. And they just do a phenomenal job. We believe it's a sin to make the Bible boring for kids in the next generation. And that team in there, from the guys and ladies holding little babies to got toddlers climbing on them, to the ones that are doing fun games and having a dance-off probably right now. Just a phenomenal experience for our kids, and I'm so proud of Kids Point and all they do in there every week.
Daryl said to me, he said, "Sam, I need some help in the kids ministry. I got an opening that I need you to fill if you want to." And I said, "Sure." I didn't realize what I was signing on for at that time, but it was much more than what I thought. And what I got to see was a team, when I started, was team members that were coming from other churches. But now we've got people that before LifePoint weren't even involved. They was part of the 70%, but now they're part of our team. They're part of our family. Every Sunday we get to enjoy fellowship. We get to enjoy stories of success, and we get to share hardships.
It was, the summertime. We'd been up for several months. We needed to have a baptism service where people could get baptized. And we didn't have a baptism, and we shopped around and tried to find something, and we just couldn't find anything that wasn't $2,000 or $3,000 and portable. So we went and we bought this horse trough at the feed store, and we had it, Keith Bowling painted it, and it looks terrific. And so in the middle of July, we filled that horse trough up in the parking lot and set up some banners, and everybody came out, and we baptized like 37 people that first day. Man, it was just amazing. People cheered and clapped and yelled because all these people were taking their next step in their journey with Christ.
A big thrill for this whole year was that she got baptized, and she goes to school and she talks about Jesus.
Yeah. She even brought some other kids. Because she had that feeling and that overwhelming, she ended up bringing some other kids to ask for Jesus to be in their heart, which was pretty awesome for us.
One of the highlights for me was Invasion, just being a part of that, and just feel like you were really ground zero of something that God was doing. And I'll never forget that point when Amy had somewhat of an altar call, I guess, and asked the people to come to the right, walk to the right, and there we were in those tents, and to see that multitude of sorts is almost biblical. You know, these people walking and coming toward us for prayer. I've been in church my whole life. I've never experienced or seen anything like that. That was very powerful and made a huge impact in my life.
I've never in my life witnessed or been a part of something that is about love and not about what you can do for the church. It's about what we can do for the community, for God's children who are lost. It's all about love, accepting everyone, no matter who they are, what their sin. We accept all, and we love everyone. And that right there, that is God's message.
Each week, we stand in the lobby of the theater and we just see new faces every week. We see those that we know maybe have a greater need more than others, but they come week after week anticipating God meeting their needs. And it's just a wow factor. It's just amazing.
So there you have it, LifePoint 2014. What a year it was. Who would have dreamed that God was going to do what he did? But you know what? We're just getting started. There are 60,000 people out there, the 70%, and they got targets on them. And we're going to go after them with reckless abandon. We're going to reach people far from God and lead them in a growing relationship with Jesus Christ. It's all we're going to do. And this year is going to be phenomenal. So fasten your seatbelts, keep your arms inside the ride at all times, get on the team, and let's do something great in Centerly County. 2015, look out, here comes LifePoint.